Let's go. And we are live. I think. I know I'm live. I'm not sure Ross is there. Yeah, Ross, we're live.
Okie dokie.
Okay. So, right.
I can see your delightful face.
Brilliant. So, welcome to the first live update for Outlands and Shades of Chaos games. This wasn't planned to happen for a couple of weeks, but for reasons, we've moved it forward a little bit. So on Wednesday, hold on, I need to move that out the way, otherwise I can't see the chat box. So on Sunday, I uploaded a video which was a sneak peek of a mission that's coming up in the new patch 1.10, and it caused a few questions, namely, what is House of Chaos Productions and how did Ross make those stone pillars? So before we get into that, I'm going to replay the video, let it run through. It's only 2.5 minutes long, so sorry, 3 minutes long, 3.5 minutes long. Once that's gone through, we can come back and talk about it. Agreed, Ross?
Yeah.
Okay. You meant to go 3, 2, 1.
Like Wayne's World.
Like Wayne's World.
Okay.
So this is the last playtest of the last mission. Squeaky chair.
That you're ever going to do.
That I'm ever going to do in the last campaign part of Revelations in the last Outlands Chronicles patch. That doesn't mean it's going away. It will be back, but under a different name. So the idea of this mission is one team starts off here, and they have to carry this token, which is the SK001 container from episode 2 of Revelations, and they need to get to that endpoint over there. The other team has to try and stop them by ambushing them. The winner is whoever's got that token at the end of the game and on the EV. The only problem being, it is now going through a mysterious area that is called the Valley of Fingers. It's a locational paradise which has no fixed location.
He's a handsome devil.
Fingers he is, isn't he? Anywhere. When you're carrying that token, you can't make any. Not bad for a 25-year-old. Because it's kind of heavy. And Was that just my IQ? Topple over, which they will, you'll have to walk around them. Make the game a little bit more difficult. And that's the premise of the very last mission. So that's the end of the playtest. Ross, what did you think of the mission?
Really good mission. Those pillars are hard to get rid of. Didn't really want to wipe your guys off the table. I just want to destroy those pillars, and he took my chance away from me. But no, really good game. Some crazy dice rolling at the end of the game when you really, really needed it. Yeah.
And
what should I say?
thank God for emergency lightning.
Oh yes, power cut.
Power cut.
Wonderful.
So the end result is that player 1 won the mission, but it all got a bit messy. I'm not sure we can see that.
2 dudes dead,
Right on at the end of the game. Right, so I'm not going to talk about the patron supporters group this tonight, because that needs an update all by itself. but it was the next slide that caused a few questions. And I'm going to pause that right there. And then close that down. So, a few people asked what is the House of Chaos Productions? And how do we go about explaining this? About 6-7 weeks ago, I looked at our reach, which is a term they use where we post something on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, and we can see how many people have seen that post or how many people have clicked on it, how far that post has gone, how many people have interacted with it. So Shaded Chaos Games uses 3 social media: Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And some of the community members are on all 3. Some are only on Instagram, some are only on Twitter, and some are only on Facebook. Twitter and Instagram are great for when you want that very quick punch. Guess what's happening? Here it is. Follow this link. And Facebook, we can do that, but we can also add a little bit more. We can explain things a little bit more. Now, when I saw the figures, I was surprised because they were better than I expected. But it did leave a lot of room open for more expansion. So I took those figures away and we looked at different ways we can get out into the community, into the gaming community. Because the community is important. Anyone that's followed the Shades of Chaos story will know that we don't have a budget for promotion and we don't have a budget for marketing, and we just generally don't have a budget. Well, we do have a budget and it's a big old zero. So we rely on the community to spread the word of Outlands. We do demo shows and intro games when we can, but it's a bit difficult trying to get round to everyone. Facebook is great because we then get to interact with our community. We like seeing your pictures, we like hearing about the games you play, and so and so. One of the key areas we've identified that we could be doing better is in video. So we made a decision to do some video updates, do some live updates like this, do some video battle reports of Outlands and other Shades of Chaos games that will be coming in the future, and just basically bring it to a more community level. The videos and the battle reports, we've already done a few test runs. It's a bit rough around the edges. I won't beat around the bush or beat off in a bush, which is highly illegal. But we'll get better at it. We've already made that investment. We've bought a few cameras. We've done a few test runs. It's not going to look pretty, but it will get better as time goes by. That's my expectation as we become more and more focused on learning the equipment. I mean, tonight, this was meant to go out at 7:30, and it started at 25 to 9 because we've had a few technical issues that none of us knew how to fix. With having this new setup to do video battle reports, and it will be a video battle report, and we'll explain the rules as we go along, because no one wants to see 2 guys sitting around spending 4 hours just talking about rules. Even I would turn off for that, and if anyone knows me, there's nothing I like better than being turned on and not turned off. Boom, drop the mic. So we're going to do those battle reports, and because we've got the equipment to do it, although it's not 4K HD, we can do other battle reports. So in our group, in the creative Shades of Chaos team, myself, Carl, Ross, whoever's around to play test, we all play different games. I think Ross is the biggest 40k gamer that I know. You might want to disagree with me there. Carl's into Lord of the Rings. I'll pretty much play anything. So while we've got that technology, we might as well use it. So we're going to do some video battle reports for Outlands. It's a lot easier to explain Outlands visually than it is to try and do it verbally, and even worse still when you try to read it from a paper form, because it's not your normal, typical my go, you go tradition of wargaming. And that can be a little bit hard for people to pick up. So we're going to do that. Because we're going to be doing other things as well as just hobby and maybe some unboxing, we're also going to be doing some video games. Now, the team all play video games, so we're going to do some video game stuff. If you're into your video games, you can jump in on some of the games. If not, send us your Battle.net or your your Steam account name, and we'll add you. So when we're playing games, you can jump in and be part of that community as well.
And
what's that? Sorry, Ross?
and
He said something and then disappeared. Okay. Because we're doing all this other stuff, it didn't feel right to put it all under Outlands or all under Shades of Chaos Games. So as a group, we decided that we'll put it all under one banner. And that one banner is House of Chaos Productions. And by doing so, we can then share the Outlands video to the Outlands group. Or if it's a Lord of the Rings battle report, we can share it to a Lord of the Rings group. Or 40k, or X-Wing, or Blood Bowl, or Magic, or Guild Ball. We all play all types of games. So that's what that's about. The live updates, this is one of, and if you're watching online now, you'll notice there's a little chat room. This gives us an opportunity to interact with the community, our community. You can, if you log in, go to the chat room, type away, and if we're online doing a live broadcast like we are now, we can try and answer your question, or you could just join in the chat, but we can do that live. And it's more interaction between us and the community we're trying to build up. In future, we can have someone where you can see this video player now, which I'm moving about. We can invite guests in and put them up in that top corner, and you can join in the chat, the voice chat, and have a topic all for yourself. As long as it's about gaming of some type, we don't need political or religious stuff. We all know Donald Trump's a dick, so we don't need to be told that again. So, and that's building on the community, getting you guys interacting with us, and for us to interact with you. All good. And that is what House of Chaos Productions is all about. The best way for you to not miss a live broadcast, and hopefully we can do it on time, is if you go to Twitch TV. If I move that out a little bit, you can get the web address there. Twitch.tv House of Chaos Productions, and you'll find a follow button. You can click that follow button, and then there's a notification button, which looks very much like a little bell that you would ring. If you click that, it will tell you to your device or to your email account exactly when we go live. And that will allow you to jump into the chat room and be part of the live broadcast, which I think is pretty good idea, to be honest. It is all new to us. There are going to be some mistakes on the way, tonight being one of them. And that's pretty much about it. I hope that answers the question, what is House of Chaos Productions? You're going to see a lot more of it, because it is a good medium, and we're just not using it the way we should, or as much as we should. So following that video, excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold going on, and any minute I could sneeze so hard my head might explode. The other question that came out of that video was the stone fingers pillars that Ross built. Are you there, Ross? Hello?
I'm still here.
You're still there? Are you ready to do your
I'm still here.
slideshow bit?
I can give it a go.
You can give it a go. Right, okay. If I turn that off and turn that on, I'm not sure if you can see that your end, Ross, but we're looking at the first picture of your stone pillars. There's 4 of them standing there. If you want to
I'm
talk,
glad you're using that slideshow and not the private slideshow.
well, that is just for me. I might download this later and re-edit it and put some nudes in there. But quite frankly, you've seen a picture of you nude covered in goose fat is well, it's far too much man for me to handle.
Mm-hmm. And the soapy frogs really finishes it off.
Yes, and that's not a euphemism. So if you want to,
Yeah, I can see the fingers. Yeah.
right, okay. So I'll move on to the next picture, and you can explain what's going on there. By talking about it.
Okay, so the first picture was the finished product that I made, but you could use the same technique to make any pillar. So it's made from styrofoam.
Okay. So I'm looking at a picture of a hot wire cutter now.
Okay, there's a bit of a delay. So the hot wire cutter, you don't have to buy a hot wire cutter. This one was a cheap product off of eBay. I think it was like £5, something like that. It was actually cheaper than buying just the battery. So you can get the battery with it anyway. So you don't have to spend hundreds on it. Or you could use a sharp kitchen knife. And the only difference is this one's quicker. Kitchen knife, it does produce some kind of static, and the polystyrene will stick to the knife and be irritating. But other than that, it's the same effect at the end.
Right, so we're looking at a picture of you with a knife without the wanted poster bit on it for a change. I'll just move on to the next picture. There's a picture of the hot wire cutter. And I'm not sure you're picking it up your end.
No blood on the knife, that's always good.
Well, not your blood on the knife.
Yeah, it's probably about right.
That's a better thing. There's a few people that I could do with it. So I'm looking at a hot wire cutter. Can you see that? Ross?
I'm still waiting for the next picture. All I've got is the knife.
Right, well,
technology, wonderful, isn't it?
it's your laptop. It's prehistoric. It's a
tablet. Yeah, there's the hot wire cutter.
So,
I actually glued 2 pieces of styrofoam together before I started shaping it with a hot wire cutter, purely just to give it strength down the center. Because as you know, polystyrene breakable.
Right, you're dropping out again. So I'm going to move on to the next picture because that's obviously Ross carving the rock feature into the polystyrene. And we're now looking at a picture of... but did you start in the corners?
Yeah, starting the corners is a lot easier and just go as random as you like. You know, nature isn't a... You know, you start in the corners, you start overlapping, and eventually it should...
Right,
Looks hopefully like.
your voice
Them.
is dropping out quite a bit now.
Ah, man. Right.
Right, so I'm going to move on
Let's
to the
try
next
some.
picture.
How's that, sir? Clearer?
It's not that, Ross. You sort as you get towards the end of your sentence, it just completely drops off. Completely, it just goes right off. But we'll struggle through. It's all a learning curve. So we're now looking at what seems to be your carved pillar. And I'm guessing you're still there.
I'm still here. You just dropped out just for a second there, John.
Brilliant. So your stone pillar, you've carved it up. What was the process after carving it?
So when you get to a stage where you feel, it looks semi-rock-like, just smother it in PVA glue. I bought in bulk from a local hardware store, so it was nice and cheap. And use whatever grade sand. Actually, use chinchilla sand because it was. Use building sand, anything really. Up to you.
Okay. So my question is, did the PVA, because it's styrofoam, did it start to warp it? Because there is a certain amount of flexibility in styrofoam before it snaps.
Yeah, that's correct. I mixed a little bit of water with it to help that. And if it's all four sides are covered in PVA, it's kind of pulling it against itself. If it
Right.
was a flat board, if you want to make a modular terrain, it will start curling at the edges.
Okay. Right, I'll move on to the next picture, which looks like you've now painted them.
Started to make the base color, which was once again dirt cheap paint from a hardware store. You could use what.
And your voice has dropped out again.
And all of these products are really, really cheap. We're trying to do it on a budget, and it just shows that you don't have to spend hundreds on scenery. I mean, this polystyrene was from packaging, which was free, if you include the price of the and the sand, cheap, dirt cheap. It was in the reduced section. So in total, 4 pillars probably cost me £2, and with those materials, I can make hundreds more.
Okay. So we've now got your 4 pillars standing up.
Mm-hmm.
And you've done some shading by the looks of it. Just line shading.
Yeah, I mean, rocks. You can see the different layers, the sediments, and they tend to be like, if you imagine the Grand Canyon, there's a lot of oranges and red hues. So yeah, just pick some random colors, mix them with a little bit of water, so much of a contrast. And when that settles down, used was some acrylic black down that over the top.
Right.
I think it's too light. It dries. Try again. Another layer of acrylic. Thin it down until you're happy.
Okay. And I think, aha, now we've got a soldering iron.
Mwahaha. As you can imagine, these polystyrene pillars are light. Fisted like me, you're trying to knock them over on the table. So I use a soldering iron to make a hole in the bottom, so you can insert something of reasonable weight.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Insert the pillar. Insert something into the pillar.
Yeah.
I used a reasonable size stone. You can use a marble. You could even attach it to a base, something good diameter, like an old unwanted CD. Like if you got Celine Dion CDs kicking about, those would be perfect.
But who hasn't got a whole collection of Celine Dion CDs? Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yep.
And they're not likely to curl either. If you use PVA glue on a CD, not like cardboard, it's not going to absorb, start curling the edges. That'd be perfect.
So I can see now where you've jammed a stone down the end of one of them.
Yeah. And just applied a little bit of PVA glue inside. Because super glue actually reacts with polystyrene and will.
And will what? Sorry, Ross, you dropped off then.
Not for the first time. Yeah, super glue will react with polystyrene and it will start melting. So PVA really is the best thing to stick anything polystyrene.
And then at the end, you stuck a bit of card over the end of it.
Yeah, doesn't have to look pretty. Just a random cereal box, whatever you got. No one's going to see it anyways underneath. And just, yeah, once again, PVA glue, because super glue will melt that pillar. So no spray paint, no super glue.
Okay. So when we play tested this, I was surprised actually, because I can be a bit of a clot when it comes to scenery and tape measures. You've noticed, right? That they didn't fall down unless they were meant to fall down. So have an extra weight in the bottom. And it's quite key to that mission that when they do fall down, that the base stays where it is. So you don't want it moving around too much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, well done, mate. So Ross's brief, how this works is I give Ross a brief of what I want. And Ross goes off and builds it. Now, Ross is up against it because although he's got a hot wire cutter, not everyone's got one. Right? I know I haven't got one. And I know Carl hasn't got one. So he has to do it using household materials or where you can nip down to the pound shop and get it for £1. So it's always a bit of a challenge for Ross. And 9 times out of 10, he comes through with something a bit special. The other one time, it can be a bucket of hot crap. But that's the way. This is the way we work. This is what Shades of Chaos is all about. It's making gaming affordable. It's pocket money gaming. So by doing this and by showing you how he's done it, you can then take Ross's advice on how to build these stone pillars, find a bit of packing material and build your own, and you're done. For a couple of quid, you've got some scenery that's going to last you a good couple of years before it needs replacing.
Yeah, that's it. And if you look at the picture of the 4 pillars, I bet you can't tell the difference between the ones I use the hot cutter on and the kitchen knife. They look pretty much the same.
They do look pretty much the same. So I'm looking at them. Go on, well, tell us then, because I'm looking at the 4 now. You'll probably have to wait for that to load up at your end.
Yeah, just give me a week. And the same with the soldering iron. I understand not everyone has a soldering iron. I mean, why the hell don't you? But you know, you could use a knife. Soldering iron was just quicker and less mess. House full of dogs, eating polystyrene, probably not so.
Well, that depends on how you look at the dogs. Right. So
I'm looking at the 4 pillars.
Yes, left to right. Let's go.
Memory serves. Right. What do you think the first one is?
I think the first one is
the first.
The one on the left.
Yeah, the one on the left. Go for it. What do you think?
I think that was a knife.
Yeah, that was my first one I did with a knife. I was a bit girly because I didn't want to lop any fingers off. It was okay.
Come on, you've still got another 3 fingers left. So the second one in from the left was the hot wire cutter.
Yep, correct.
The far right one, I'm going to say, was a knife.
Oh, you come so close. Look what
blimey.
you could have won.
Okay.
No, the third one was the knife and the first one.
All right.
I learned to go a bit heavy,
Yeah. Okay.
and now it looks more like a nickname.
Looks more like a what, sorry? And Ross is gone.
Broke up.
Hello, you're back. No, you're not. You're gone. Right. Okay. So that was how Ross made those stone pillars for episode 3 of the Revelations campaign, The Valley of Fingers. That patch 1.10 will be out before the end of November. Just to let you know. We've run into a few problems with that one, but we've finally overcome it. It's just compiling it all together. So that's the end of our first live update. Bit short. The next one, I think, will... Ross, are you back? I'm guessing...
Hello?
Hello, you back?
I'm back. Are you? I'm back. I'm here. I'm here.
Right. I think we'll do another one next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Another
sounds
live
pretty
update. We'll try and sort these microphone problems out. Which basically means Ross has got to move from where he's living now. Before we sign off for tonight, next live update will be about the mini expansions for Outlands and how they affect the game. So if you've got any questions, get them ready, join the chat, and we'll try and answer them as we go along. And I believe Ross is away this weekend, going somewhere. So if we can grab some pictures of that, he can do a quick run through of that. Future live updates will not just be about Outlands and Shades of Chaos, because we are keen gamers across the board. So if there's anything else we can think of that we can throw in, we will do. And just before we sign off, with the Noob mini expansion coming very soon, we decided to have a bit of a special offer on. Special offer on? A special offer on. Special offer on is one of those fabulous creatures that Harry Potter rides around on, or something similar. Special offer on existing Outlands products. So until the end of November, you can get the printed rulebook for £6.50. And it's got there the recommended retail price of £9. Now, anyone who's been to the web store will know that's not entirely true. It's £8.50. It's £8.50 until the end of November. Then it will go up. Unfortunately, it's got to go up again by another 50p. So now's the good time to get it. That's the printed rulebook. The Outlands PDF rules at £2.50 instead of £4. And the Outlands Legends printed rulebook is £3.50 instead of £4.50. This is going to be the last special offer until probably sometime around the the middle of next year. There are a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening next year. We have. Thank you. We have the second book in the Outlands, The Awakenings. That's coming. Hopefully, that should be around February. We will then reintroduce the free content updates. So the Outland Chronicles, or the Outland Chronicles is finishing. It will be back, but under a different name. We've then been working on, and this is where, for those of you who don't know, probably don't know Carl. I've asked Carl to join the group as to help with doing some fantasy rules for a new game, which will work very similar to Outlands, but it'll be a little bit more competitive because we're going to have different races in there: humans, dwarves, elves, orcs, goblins, beastmen, maybe if it isn't copyrighted, and going on. So there's a lot to get crammed in between now and the end of 2019. We're doing these quick little updates where we'll keep you informed and you can join in on the chat and see what's going on. And I think that's it. Anything you want to add in, Ross?
No, that's pretty it. It's yeah, covered, I think.
Yeah. So that's the quick first live update. Bit of a cock up at the beginning. We had a few issues with sound, and we've still got a few issues with the sound, but we'll work on it. My expectations are it will get better, and anyone who knows me will tell you that my expectations are very much like the Queen's expectations. Not a Queen, Ross, calm down. So it will get better. So thanks for tuning in. We'll download this, do a quick edit on it, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube. So the next broadcast will be Tuesday, November the 20th. And it'll probably be around 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So from me and from Ross, it's goodbye.